Alright, here's a quickie. You know what I'm saying. Bellular, Wars Director, thinks they deserve better. Been hearing how we deserve better since BFA, yet Ian is still the one delivering the message. I appreciate all the news and thoughts from you guys. $1 billion company and they are paying designers in pennies, as most would leave in droves. No wonder their games are all hollow. Short-term excuses are fine and whatever. Overarchingly, it is 100% on the managers to make sure the knowledge isn't tribalized or siloed, that you have cross training and understudy, then documentation in case of emergencies. If one person leaving a project or company, be it for PTO or for another position, puts things in a tailspin, you have screwed up. Either understaffed or overscoped. You have neglected precautionary measures, or you are really mistreating your team such that they felt they had to leave without proactively communicating their unhappiness, PR, job search, or job search. Not to mention, you should have producers capable of speaking to the community team about timelines or the order of which classes are going to be tackled, which would have averted 70% of the anger. Oh wait, Activision got it and laid off the vast majority of the community team. Yep, I'm glad they're acknowledging that we deserve better. I mean, wow. It's also incredibly sad that they have literally one person making executive decisions per class on what the designer should be. They need more talent, more ideas, and more humility. That's absurd. They have so few people they can all fit into one room. They're not multi-million-dollar company. It's multi-billion-dollar company. They must hire more people and pay executives less. Simple. Regarding flexibility dealing with resources, it's called a bank loan. They can create a players' council for druids and priests to solve the short-term issue. No. I can't believe each class doesn't have its own manager. I'd think each spec. Why does it always sound like 14 people are working at Blizzard? Where does all the money go? Bobby isn't that fat. He's not eating all of it. Where does the money go? Yep, basically.
You deserve better, and you rightfully expect better. That is
What? Ian, bro. No way.
straight from the
We deserve better? Oh, druids and priests, yeah.
game director. And, well, actually... okay, I don't want to say this is definitely the reason, but one thing that many druids could not help but realize is that the individual who was doing a lot of work on the druid no longer...
They also did priest stuff as well, yeah.
Okay, did warlock and priest, is one of... Or, sorry,
yes.
Words are hard, druid and priest. That's Hamlet, Ian's old guildie, I think. But yeah, they no longer work at the company. So... This obviously leaves a bit of a problem when it's a new expansion, someone is moving on to a new gig.
Yeah.
You now need someone designing something to do this. And this is, I think, where the rest of Ian's statement comes in, where he says, the challenge is, billion-dollar company and all, so he's not, deaf to what people are saying.
Wow, he can make a meme out of himself. Great. Like, who cares?
Years it.
Single-dollar company?
Single-dollar company. Multi-dollar company sometimes.
Yeah, only after they release an expansion.
The number of humans who can all fit in one room together, who are handling both the class design side of it and the communication side of it. Life happens, it results in gaps all along the way. Get a bigger room. When they need to discuss stuff, put them in the bigger room. Let them discuss shit. They'll have a battle plan, they'll go do their work.
See,
it's not like they're next to each other when they create the class and discuss stuff. No, they discuss, they create. They discuss, they create. Two separate rooms.
That's why they try to get expansions out, because they only have $1 until they release an expansion, and then they get $2. But then that $1 goes away when they're making the next expansion. And that's actually, if you change the numbers, that actually is why, but that's a different story.
But yeah, he said the number of humans who can all fit in one room together, who are handling both the design side of it and the communication of it, life happens that results in gaps along the way. Sometimes one developer is working on a couple of classes and has one done, but needs to get the other one done because understandably players of the class are impatient.
Why do you have only one developer working on a couple of classes? Why?
means in turn
should be a team working on all of them. Should have a battle plan, like, okay, this is what we want from this is what we want from this. Get to work, people. Right? Divide the classes amongst yourself. It's not like the one person's like, well, I'm responsible for this guy and that's it. No one can touch this.
Let's focus on the first one for now and are going to get back to it. It's stuff like that. Basically, right? It's multi-billion dollar company, but also...
But also, they only have 6 employees, so each one is taking 2 classes. Yeah.
There's like 5 or maybe... Let's just say...
For clarity, I completely made that number up. I have no idea.
Yeah, let's just say there's 5 or 10 class designers.
Yeah.
But actually,
6
they
apparently.
all have a bunch of work, and if one of them leaves... I mean, obviously you can see how this is going to be an issue, and you can't throw money at so many of these problems.
No, because
that's why I think players get really frustrated. They're like, you're a multi-million dollar company. How the fuck do you not have the resources to do, or how did you not do...
They do have the resources, they don't want to spend them. They could have easily... So this is something that's like, yeah, at the moment they can't throw money to fix it, the person left. However, it could have been prevented before by having maybe 12 class designers, one responsible for each class, and then they also have meetings about how the classes should function and, like, you know, balance out the damage and all that stuff. They would have their meetings, right? But as far as like responsibility per class, there you go, right? Also, it could be also not even like you're responsible for a class, you're responsible for aspects of classes. So for example, one guy would be, or like a few guys would be responsible for the utility aspect of classes. The other few people would be responsible for damage amongst classes, right? To balance them all out. How the combos work, so like the damage throughput is approximately the same. Shit like that. You can also do that, right? You can divide in that way. If you're dividing it into like one person per one class, the numbers are gonna be out of whack, which they always are. If you look at it, I mean, it's kind of balanced, yeah. But like, how many times do you see 5%, 15%, 10%, 5% damage increase reduction at random, right? Because they can't number it properly. They're not working together. They're working separately.
And the answer always, I think, is if the time scale was 2 years, this could be done. But we can't throw money at the problem short term because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, short term, They didn't prevent the problem from happening.
Technically their fault, theoretically, because they should have had this, prepped. They should have had a replacement, but clearly, but they clearly didn't. Like, that's the thing.
Not even a replacement, just have more people at the job. To the point where, like, yeah, sometimes these people won't have much to do, but that's fine because you want them there when they do have shit to do, right? It's like, oh, but literally the whole mentality of this is like it's a waste of money to have extra people not doing anything. First of all, it's not like they can only design fucking classes; they can do other shit, right? But it's like their main job is class design right now because we don't need class designers. You guys can help out in other departments that you can, right? But their mentality is, well, we don't need class designers now. We're gonna get rid of some, and then when we need them, we will need to hire them. It's like, bro, it doesn't work that way.
It's the awkward part where you want to be operating at like 80% of your capacity, and then whenever something goes wrong or whatever number, and then say even example, someone's sick for a week, but this is an important week for us.
Yep.
We're good. Because we're running at 80% capacity. We're up to 100% capacity, but we have the overflow capability there.
Yep.
And that's like what you would theoretically want to do. But then if you're running at 80% capacity, then what you're doing is pissing away 20% of your money.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, right? That's exactly the problem. They're like, well, we're literally wasting money to have these people around not doing anything, right? Like they can do more. It's like, bro, stop.
And why not just work at 100% capacity? Because you'll get more stuff done. But then something happens, and then you're now working at 120% capacity, which means stuff doesn't get done in time, and you're like, how do you flexibly change the amount of resource you have?
You don't.
And the difficult answer for something of this is you don't.
Yeah.
That's why so many contractors and stuff are very important for the games industry, because they do need to go from, we need an extra 100 people for 6 months.
And again, like the whole like meme of like it being a $1 billion company, that's the meme. Literally what this problem is. This problem is caused because they wanted to save on money, right? That's literally what the problem is, because they want to save on money to make as much profit as possible, even though they're making massive fucking profits already. Right? They're just trying to like minimize the margin. It's like, why? Like, you're making so much money. Make the players fucking happy.
We don't have time to train them up, so you kind of have to have like contractors who are available and multi-skilled to do that stuff.
Yep.
But you can't just get someone and go, hello, you are skilled in all the ways we need for a class designer, and you're like intimately familiar with Druid and Priest. Come on in. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, you're not going to find that person.
There is a vague chance you could, maybe get, here's someone who's like really good with game design, like the fundamental technical side of like making numbers work. And then we got them, and we also got like class experts in the room, but that's like hard to actually like organize and sort, and it carries danger because you invite someone from the community in. Oh look, you've just given them some creative control over your game despite them being an outsider. Oh shit, that's a bit of a dodgy maneuver. But that's kind of the awkward part of like, you can't, like you're saying, you can't solve this short term, but you should have had something there sorted.
Look, can you imagine somebody just like is so pissed at Blizzard, like he works there and he's so pissed at Blizzard, and he just goes and he deletes all the work they've done on Dragonfly or some shit like that, just like deletes the backup, like deletes all the information, just deletes the expansion. Just imagine like that shit happens one day. Holy fuck, man.
But obviously,
I wonder if they'll be like, you know what? We're done with WoW at this point. Like, they just give up on WoW. They're just gonna have servers for each expansion, that's it.
they have clearly have resource problems because things are generally like. Also, there's a lot of work they have to redo, which I'm sure they're very annoyed about having to, like, I'm sure they've planned for some of it in their overall plans, but they've had to redo talent trees and like fix them up so much. That's like, there's a lot of, I imagine there's a couple of cases where they went, man, I really needed like to do, say, Druid this week, but let's say an example, but all the red paladins are screaming online, so I have to do that first, or I have to prioritize which of these gets done. Like Ian's saying, just maybe you have two to do.
Okay, wait. I want to say it again.
Online, so I have to do that first, or I have to let's say an example, but all the red paladins are screaming online.
Before that,
man, I really needed like to do, say, Druid this week, but let's say an example, but all the red paladins are screaming online.
why do you think that is, though? Why do you think all the red paladins will be screaming while you need to do Druid? Maybe because you did a shitty job on paladins. Maybe that's why everyone's screaming. So maybe it's a good thing you stop working on Druid until you fix paladin. Not because Druid doesn't need love, but because you might screw up Druid and paladin. Fix the fucking problem.
So I have to do that first.
Yeah.
Or I have to prioritize which of these gets done. Like Ian's saying, just maybe you have two to do. You do one at a time. The one you do second just gets, takes a hit. Yep. And that's kind of unfortunate.
Kind of what
but
having paladin.
It's also they have a lot of money. They should not have this problem.
Yep.
They do, but they shouldn't. They do, and it's understandable, but they shouldn't. Yeah, I think that's.
They do. It's just because I can understand doesn't mean I agree why they have the problem, and they definitely shouldn't have this problem because they're cheap on their fucking profits. I understand WoW is not producing as much money as some games and requires a lot more dev time. It's still a profitable game, though. It's not the most profitable, but it's one of those games where it's like it's profitable for them to keep it popular and have the people playing it happy, because these people who play WoW usually play your other games, and if they feel betrayed in WoW, they will also likely quit your other games too.
I think that's where most people are saying that. They're like, this shouldn't be the case. We don't want excuses, we want action. You're like, your excuse is valid, but it's a reason, but no.
Yeah. Should have been better planned to have something like this not be disruption, because it can happen. He did finally say, though, we all need to collectively work to get better at ever having the radio silence solution, going on where people are waiting.
Yeah, because I think
he's saying we need to do better.
Yeah, that's like the fundamental part where there's some classes who are like, their talent tree is busted, but there's a little bit of feedback on, hey, we're going to do this, or hey, this is what we're working on. Whereas obviously for whatever reason, during the priest are like, are you going to fix this? That's just crickets. You're like, well, okay. All it needs is someone who's responsible being able to go, hey, here's it's going to take me like 2 weeks to get it done, but I'm going to look at doing this and this and this. And
the thing is, it also doesn't take long. It's like Ian shouldn't be the one who comes out on an interview and says, yeah, we are aware of the problem and we're working on it, but we just don't have time to go on the forums and write it down. Are you fucking kidding me? The person who wrote down that, like, you know, feedback for like mages or something can easily go to the posts for Druid and write the same things. Like, hey, we're aware of the problems. We hear you. We're working on it. This is going to take us some time. It doesn't take long. Are you kidding me? People can do it on their phone during lunch break. Like, give me a break.
And this and this and this. Send out the Kyvax, file it in the forums. I'll load the feedback later. Sweet, job done.
Oh,
but you need to have someone who's the time to even do that. And even doing that is time taken away from them solving the problem.
Oh yeah, because
please.
if there's going to be a new fucking class designer coming, who's going to be interviewing them? Probably a senior class designer who also has classes to... So even though it's a large company, shit's still done by humans.
I just don't agree, man. Like, it's a problem created by Blizzard trying to minimize their fucking profit margins. That's all it is. Or maximize profit margins, sorry. What am I saying? I just don't agree. I think Blizzard just fucked themselves over. Fired too many people. On their best profitable year, they fired 800 people. Which, again, they do it every year. I get it. But this is the problem. This is a problem created by Blizzard. It's not our problem that, like, they can't, oh, well, we don't have the people. Yeah, you fired them all. Or you didn't hire enough. Yeah, it is, like, we can't help. This is a human issue. It's like, you could have helped it. Could have solved this human issue way before. Jesus Christ, man. It's so fucking dumb. I'm done with this shit. Well, I mean, for this video at least, I'll definitely have more videos. You know. Anyways, this is it for the video. Peace out.